You might be feeling all filled up after Thanksgiving, but unfortunately, we got an extra helping of turkey from Colorado Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, who proudly displayed her ignorance and bigotry in comments about Minnesota Democrat Ilhan Omar.
I look to my left, and there she is, Ilhan Omar. Oops. And I said, well, she doesn't have a backpack. We should be fine. So we only had one floor to go, and I was like, do I say it? Do I not? I looked over, and I said, oh, look, the Jihad Squad decided to show up for work today. Don't worry, it's just her staffers on Twitter that talk for her. She's not tough in person.
We should note, Congresswoman Omar says Boebert is lying about that run, and Omar tweeted, this whole story is made up. And Boebert has since offered something of an apology to the Muslim community, but not to Omar. By the way, that wasn't the only hateful thing Boebert said in that speech. She also took a homophobic swipe at Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, who is now the father of twins.
He wasn't even put in charge of the supply chain crisis. No, someone else was tapped for that because Mayor Pete is still at home trying to figure out how to chest feed. Somebody ought to tell him so he can get back to work.
In fact, Boebert has a troubling track record of making vile and incendiary comments. She tweeted, "Today is 1776" on January 6th, just hours before the violent insurrection at the Capitol. On the Biden administration's efforts to encourage vaccination, she tweeted that Biden had deployed his needle Nazis to Mesa County. And she's warned everybody in Washington that she plans on carrying her gun up on Capitol Hill.
I will carry my firearm in D.C. and in Congress. This caused outrage from Democrats and the media. Why?
And you can even find her at the border mocking the vice president with a cardboard cutout.
Now, Kamala, I want you to stand here and look at what you've done.
But she should look at what she's done. Boebert appears to believe that trolling, overt racism, and the glorification of political violence all come with the job here in Washington. Now, where would she get that idea?
They're always telling us how to run it, how to do this, how to do that. You know what? If they don't love it, tell them to leave it.
Remember that? Yes, welcome to the Trump Republican Party Freak Show Caucus, home of Paul Gosar, who was recently censured for posting a violent photoshopped anime showing him attacking prominent Democrats. And of course, there's Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's been stripped of her committee assignments, in part because of her past racist and anti-Semitic comments. The Freak Show Caucus knows the party's current leader in the House, Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, is not going to stand in their way. McCarthy has gone from blaming Trump for January 6th.
The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters. He should have immediately denounced the mob when he saw what was unfolding. These facts require immediate action by President Trump.
To complaining that Trump should have been awarded a Nobel Peace Prize.
Jimmy Carter and Barack Obama. Not Ronald Reagan and not Donald Trump. After Abraham Accords.
And even though McCarthy has said that Greene and Gosar will be serving on committees if Republicans take control of the House in next year's elections.
They'll have committees. The committee assignment they have now, they may have other committee assignments. They may have better committee assignments.
Greene still openly questions whether he will become House Speaker.
We know that Kevin McCarthy has a problem in our conference. He doesn't have the full support to be speaker. Right now, from the people I've talked to, he doesn't have the votes right now. I think that there's a door open for a challenger.
Greene, who appears to be on her way to becoming chair of a committee in a new GOP House, has tweeted about Boebert's remarks, saying, quote, "Never apologize to Islamic terrorist sympathizers. Ilhan Omar and the Jihad Squad are all three and are undeserving of an apology." The lesson learned for Greene and the rest of the Freak Show Caucus? Appeasement is always interpreted as weakness. In the Freak Show Caucus, loyalty only flows in one direction, not the Republican leader more like the deer leader, which means more hatred, more bigotry, more glorification of violence, and more appeasement. This week, Trump met with the recently acquitted Kyle Rittenhouse, the man who shot and killed 2 people in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The picture of Kim Jong-un behind them was a nice touch. Green wants to award Rittenhouse the Congressional Gold Medal. Members of the Freak Show caucus have been fighting over one another over who will have Rittenhouse as a congressional intern.
And, Madison Cawthorn, he said that he would arm wrestle me for this Kyle Rittenhouse internship. But Madison Cawthorn has some pretty big guns. And so I would like to challenge him to a sprint instead.
Now, I know what you're saying. She's not the brightest bulb on the Capitol Christmas tree. Also, an internship? Really? It sounds like he's on his way to speakership. Would Kevin McCarthy object to that? I have my doubts. As we are all gathering with family and friends for the holidays, ask yourselves, is this who we are? Bigoted, hateful, violent? I don't think so. Sadly, I'd say we are complacent and enabling more than anything else. Too many of us are standing on the sidelines, sticking our heads in the sand and biting our tongues in the hopes that the freak show somehow will go away. Sounds like appeasement. How did that work out over the last 4 years? Or the last century, for that matter? And we'll be right back.
Subaru and our retailers believe